Welcome to everybody to another Yoga for Beginners class or workshop. This is a series, an 8-part series, and today is the fourth class. So today we are starting to introduce new movements. So for those of you who haven't been in my classes before, my Yoga for Beginners series, we've been covering yoga philosophy, yoga history. We started to work with breath. We started to talk about the physical body and the energetic body. As you know, in yoga, we also consider the energy that flows through our body as part of us. We're not just skin and bones and muscles and blood. There's more stuff going on, as maybe some of you have already experienced. Yoga is more than just a physical movement. Yoga is really about connecting to the self, connecting to ourselves, so we can bring more ease and more balance to our lives. So talking about balance, let's all make sure we are sitting in balance. So Deborah, you can sit on your bolster, and those of you at home, make sure that you're sitting either on a bolster or a firm cushion, or if you don't have that, you can just fold your towel or blanket a number of times like I've done and come to sit on that. So I keep repeating this because we keep forgetting this very important part, how you sit at the beginning of class. And maybe, Deborah, could you come up to this side? Because otherwise I can't see you through the studio lights. I'm sorry about that. All right, so how we sit makes a huge difference. I'm not going to stay on this point for a long time, but when your knees are higher than your hips, and most people, this is your situation, so bring your props with you. If this is you, you need to sit on something higher until your hips are at least as high as your hips or even higher. Don't be shy. Ideally, our hips are much higher than our knees, and that's how our lower backs are extra happy, and that's how we can sit up straight for the longest time. So look at me now. My hips are higher than my knees, and that's where I can sit here for the longest time. My lower back is either straight or has a nice inward indentation, nice inward curve. So just bring your hand to your lower back and just palpate and notice what's going on in your lower back. If you're able to sit up straight without engaging too much core, there you go. So relax your knees towards the sides. That's it. And maybe grab another bolster. Another of the green ones here at the studio, so you can pile up. Don't be shy. There's no yoga police, plus you're at home, so just make sure that you are sitting up straight and comfortable. All right, so I was just checking my music. This sounds good. I can turn this off. All right, everybody. So let's close our eyes once we found that upright, comfortable seat. And we lengthen the spine. That's it. Just let the knees flop open. Bring your hands onto your knees or thighs. And we lengthen the spine. We relax the shoulders away from the ears and lengthen the back of the neck upwards. And close your eyes and we start to breathe. The whole idea here is for us to tune inwards. Not to shut down, but just to focus on what's going on inside. When our eyes are open, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of external influence into our brain, our mind, and by closing our eyes, we're able to tune in to notice what's going on. This is already yoga. Mindfulness, meditation, tuning inwards, inward focus, it's already a yogic practice. There's so many ways to practice yoga. It's not just about doing these poses and twists and folds. Meditation is already yoga. Studying is already yoga. So many ways to practice. So notice if you can relax your cheeks, your jaw, your eyes, Shoulders and elbows relaxed. Spine is long, so we keep lengthening back of the neck, back of the head upwards. And we bring our awareness, our attention to the sensations on our legs and our hips. Feeling the floor, the bolsters underneath you. That already grounds you, that already connects you to the energy of the earth, this downward directionality. As we also lengthen the back of the neck upwards, back of the head upwards, we're also connecting to the upward directionality. So we're connecting to the opposites. Because yoga in Sanskrit means union. So we always want to find that connection to it all. Let's all inhale through the nose, deeply and completely through to the chest. Then the ribs, belly, sides, and lower back expand. Top of the breath. Really lengthen that inhale. Open your mouth inside out. Very nice. Few more times together as a class. Inhale deeply through the nose. Feel your ribs expand. Top of the breath. Open the mouth. Exhale. Let something go. One more time on your own. Inhale deeply. So good. All right. Open your eyes again. And I'm just going to go around, since your microphones are open, in any order. I'd like to hear from you where you typically feel tension. So we're going to start with Deborah in the studio, and then I'll just forward what she's saying. Deborah, where do you typically feel tension? All over? Neck, back, and hips. All right. Neck, back, and hips. All right. Let's do reverse order. Casey, where do you typically feel tension or tightness in your body? Neck. Upper shoulder. Yeah. Over there, just like in this top area. Okay. All right. Next is Aditi. Where do you feel tension or tightness? Okay. Lower back. So again, neck and spine, basically. Everybody's mentioning that. All right, Dawn, your turn, please. Lower back and legs. Legs are a lot big, so any more concrete, specific? Front of the thighs. Excellent, thank you. Then is Samuel, please. Where do you feel tightness? Neck and hips. Thank you. And finally, Cornell, where would you feel your tightness? Okay, excellent. So I think the common denominator of everybody here is, sorry you didn't hear it, but everybody's talking about the neck, the shoulders, and the back in general. Where do we think this is coming from? This is a rhetorical question because I'm going to tell you. This comes from our poor posture, poor alignment when we're walking, when we're sitting, even when we're sleeping, when you're doing the dishes. Just our lives, in our lives, we don't have the proper alignment for us, our bodies, to live without that kind of tension. On top of that, as we age, muscles just get shorter and tighter. It's something we need to accept. Doesn't mean we can't kind of hold or pause that, but that's just how our physical anatomy works. And then the added issue problem is this guy here. This guy and the computer you're watching me from. Why? Because I'm going to turn sideways. Once I grab my phone, what happens? Do I use my phone like this? I wish we did, but we don't. What happens is I bring the phone down and look at what just happened to my neck. This means I'm looking straight down. All the muscles in my neck are working constantly to keep my head in this angle, which is easier for me for my arms, because this is harder for my arms, but so nice for my neck. But we prioritize arms over neck. So boom, this happens. And this is in the best of cases, because most times what happens next? Boom, I start rounding my spine, and this is me and the rest of the planet. In maybe 100 years, this is the new shape of a human being. I seriously hope not. That was a bad joke. But basically, what I'm trying to get to is once we start looking down, whether it's on your phone or your keyboard or whatever it is, this starts happening to our spine. You think you're hanging out? Think again. All the muscles along your spine are working to keep you in this somewhat upright but not complete posture. And because if we let go, if this was a relaxing position, we'd fall forward. This is where we're completely relaxed. So as long as something is no longer vertical, neck first, all the muscles in your neck, just this part of the neck and the shoulders, are working to keep your head in this diagonal. Otherwise, this would be it. Complete collapsed, which is also very jarring for our neck. Secondly, once we start rounding our spine, the muscles here in the middle of the back, they have to come to the rescue to keep your shoulders kind of up. Otherwise, you'd collapse. So all of you will have tight neck, tight shoulders, and tight middle and lower back, which is basically the entire spine. It comes from poor posture. It could also come from other things, but this is the underlying issue with all of us. How do we reverse that? Improving our posture. How do you do that? We could talk about that in another episode about computer ergonomics and all that stuff, but for now, let's just think that our spine is happiest when we're in a vertical position. That means our shoulders are broad and our ears are over our shoulders, shoulders are over our hips. So just close your eyes right now and find that length of ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Your lower back is relaxed, your belly is relaxed, your chest is broad, shoulders are broad, shoulder blades are broad, and just breathe naturally. Notice how easy this is for your anatomy, for your body. If you could be like that all day, your neck would be painless, tensionless. Unfortunately, we are not able to hold this position in everything you do, but we can keep coming back to it, keep reminding ourselves. Imagine doing the dishes, if those of you who do dishes, and you're washing your dishes like this, it's not easy. Sometimes you have to lean forward. So unfortunately, some cases, that's just not possible. Learning how to type without looking down, that's really good. Bringing your computer screen higher, that's amazing. Using your phone less, so you don't have, or lifting your arms a little bit. Anyway, that's not the purpose of this class. The purpose of this class today is to learn how to undo the tension caused by our improper posture. So, as we just said, neck and shoulders. So we're going to learn how to stretch those. We're going to learn how to stretch the spine, all right? And it's because some people also mention hips. We're going to do that as well. So this class is recorded. You'll be able to watch this later, but just start making a mental note of all the stretches and movements that we do, because this should come your common yoga stretching routine every day. All right? 2 thumbs up if you think that's a great idea. Yes. Not everybody. Okay, everybody did. Awesome. So we have to set the intention. All right. So just let's make sure that your hips are as high or higher than your knees, because that's how your spine is comfortable. If not, you're engaging and rounding your spine. So Cornell and Samuel, you're first timers to my class. I can't really see your spine, but just make sure that your hips are as high or higher than your knees. All right, I'm gonna come a little closer to the computer, to the camera, so you can see me better. All right. Neck. How do we stretch the neck? Easily, gently, safely. We maintain this alignment of the spine. We inhale deeply. Exhale, chin to chest, but keep your spine long. If you started rounding your shoulders, then we've lost the alignment. You don't have to touch chin to chest. It's just about finding that stretch in the back of the neck. Second part is we lengthen the neck away from the base of the neck. So we're not just collapsing the chin downwards, we're still lengthening the back of the neck and the back of the head away, diagonally away. And we breathe. And the reason why we continue lengthening the head and the back of the neck away is to prevent us from overstretching. The vertebrae in the cervical spine, they're strong, but they're also vulnerable, so we don't want to overstretch them, especially when they're tight. We need to go in easily, slowly. That's another consideration when you stretch. Don't go too deep, too fast. Go slow, so you have time to monitor and modify as needed. Shoulders away from the ear, spine is long. We keep breathing, we keep lengthening the back of the neck. If you feel pins, needles, pain at any stage, by all means, either lessen the intensity or come out of it. No injuries or pain in my class, please. All right, slowly we're gonna bring the right ear to right shoulder, lengthen the back of the neck, and we lift the chin up a little bit on the diagonal so we can start feeling the release from the side of the head through the ear, through the side of the neck to the shoulder. Make sure your spine is still long and spacious. We're still lengthening the head and the back of the neck away from the base, and we breathe. These seem like nothing, but they make a huge difference. There's so much tightness. We've got muscles, but we also have fascia. The fascia is the lining of the muscles, the lining of the connective tissue. So sometimes it's both the fascia and the muscles that get tight. The fascia needs to be released slowly. All right, on the next exhale, bring the chin back to chest, and then bring the other ear to the other shoulder. Again, lifting the chin a little bit up on the diagonal, lengthening the back of the neck, feeling the stretch, side of the head, ears, side of the neck, top of the shoulder. Spine is long, we're breathing deeply and completely. You know if you're breathing deeply when you feel your entire chest and belly and lower back expand. Relax the lips, relax the jaw. This is not a competition. Maybe your right and left sides don't feel exactly the same. Maybe one is a little tighter than the other. If your legs start to become uncomfortable, you can cross them the other way. Few more breaths. All right, slowly bring chin to chest and then lift back up. All right, so what did we do? We stretched the back of the neck and the sides. This is the way to start. Now we're gonna deepen the stretch. How? By creating a little tension through our shoulders. That's gonna help us go a little bit deeper. All right, so I'm gonna go sideways so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Let's all bring two fists, our hands behind our back, either at the small of the back or if possible, chest a bit higher, and then we relax the shoulders down. So this is comfortable, this should be effortless. If this is too high for you, just keep them lower, but basically we want to keep our hands behind our back. Lower the shoulders down. spine is still long, remember, you're not rounding. Now bring your elbows forward any amount. And notice how this starts to open your shoulders. So go gently, maybe a 50-60% intensity. Make sure your spine is still long. If you started to round, correct that. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. From here, we do what we just did, chin to chest, and hold, and breathe. Here, the reminders are lower the shoulders, elbows forward, spine is long, back of the neck is long. Like a mantra, we keep repeating because we tend to come out of alignment. So again, shoulders down, elbows forward, spine is vertical and long, back of the neck long and spacious. And notice how by bringing your arms into this position, the stretch becomes a little deeper, let's say. And we breathe. You control the intensity. You know if you need a breather, if you need to come out of it, to come back whenever you're ready. You don't have to do me. You don't have to do the other people in the class. Just do you. If something starts to feel a little funky, you can always come out, take a breather, and come back. Shoulders down, elbows forward, spine is long, back of the neck lengthens away from the base of the neck. And we breathe. All right, let's bring our left ear to left shoulder, lifting the chin up on the diagonal. And we repeat the mantra, shoulders down, elbows forward, spine is long, lengthen back of the neck away from the base. Yes, I am a broken record, but that's how I make sure you all remember this. Breathe. Even if it feels tight, breathe into it. Like how, David, how do you breathe into a tight area? Just set the intention that with the breath, you're sending that healing energy to that part that's tight. That's what we really mean by breathe into it. Just on the inhale, breathe in and send your will, your intention to liberate, to free that body part that is tight. That's all you need. Intention and focus directs the energy into that body part. All right, on the exhale, bring chin to chest and then roll the other ear to the other shoulder slowly, gently, mindfully. We repeat the mantra, shoulders down, elbows forward, spine is long, neck is long, and we breathe. Continue like that. Just feel, breathe, setting the intention to let go. At the same time, you're studying yourself. Self-study is one of the main principles and fundaments of yoga. It's called svadhyaya in Sanskrit. The more we know ourselves, the better we can heal, the better we can tend to our needs. All right, slowly bring chin to chest and then lift the head back up. Release the arms and then shake off the shoulders, shake all the shoulders. And you can do just some neck movements and notice if you feel a little bit of that tension that has been released. If you need to change the crossing of the legs, by all means. If you need another bolster, you can go grab that. This should be a comfortable seat. If for any reason this is starting to become a little intense on your hips, just grab another bolster. It's going to turn into a chair. I'm sure that in a chair position, your hips won't hurt, right? No. So go ahead and feel free to grab another bolster. I'm talking to Deborah here at the studio, who's feeling that, yes, because you're not used to it. It's so tight. Your hips are so tight that just by even opening them a little bit is already kind of cutting the flow because it's so tight. So grab another bolster. For those of you who go to yoga class in a gym studio, always use all the props that are available to you. All right, yes, Cornell, you modify. Come to sit in whatever way feels right for you. If you need to extend your legs as well, this is yoga for beginners. It's really about learning what works for you, not you being like a cookie cutter of something else. All right, so we've just done neck. We've done a little bit of shoulders. Let's do a little more shoulders because everybody here has said that you feel tight in your shoulders. Inhale, shoulders to ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders and shoulder blades back. So really opening your chest, even bring your shoulder blades closer together. Actively, everybody, can you bring your shoulder blades closer together in your back? And then exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, bring the arms and shoulders forward. Feel the stretch in the back of the shoulder blades. Inhale deeply, shoulders to ears, and we continue again. Exhale, shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, arms forward, shoulders forward, top of the breath. And we continue like that on the exhale. Really feel the front opening as you lower the shoulders. On the inhale, really feel the back opening as you inhale, bring the shoulders up. Close your eyes now and continue on your own. Really feeling the mobility of your shoulders, shoulder joints. We try to move our shoulder joints gently so we're not pulling anything harshly and too intensely. And we're also lengthening, strengthening, and bringing more lubrication into our joints. Again, as we age, our joints start to get drier. There's less production of that viscous substance that lubricates our joints, and what we're doing does exactly that. It increases the production of this thing we call synovial fluid. All right, we're going to change the direction of the circles. On the next inhale, shoulders and shoulder blades back, then to the ears. Exhale, shoulders forward and down. Close your eyes. And now continue with these shoulder circles, but really bring your awareness to your shoulder blades. As you bring the arms forwards, feel them stretch. As you bring your arms backwards, feel the shoulder blades contract. That's how you know that you're really engaging and making nice circles. Only big enough for you to feel this. They don't have to be huge. If you're feeling it and they're small, you already are doing what you're meant to be doing. All right, two more circles. Really feeling your shoulder blades move. And relax. All right, so shake it off, shake it off. So we've done the neck, we've done the shoulders, we've done the shoulder blades. All right, we're gonna come into a forward fold in a cross-legged position. So I'm gonna move towards the back of the mat so that you can see. Apologies, I need to grab a bolster. And you're all gonna come off. If you're sitting on a lot of bolsters, come off so that you're a little bit closer to the floor. So slowly come back down, but sit on at least one of them. All right, so again, we start with a long spine. The aim here is to start stretching the muscles along the spine because a lot of us have tight back muscles. Bring your hands on the floor in front of you and either stay here if this is already a lot for you, or start walking your hands forward. We want to keep a long spine and see how far you can go. Maybe it's not so much, and that's where you're gonna stay. Wherever you are, we wanna keep lengthening the spine. Again, we wanna lengthen the back of the neck. And if you're somewhere close to the floor, we wanna bring our forehead onto something. If you are far away, you can bring 2 blocks stack them and then bring your forehead on top of them to relax your neck a little bit, but not so much that you don't feel a stretch anywhere on your back. So here we're all gonna have to fine tune. If you don't have blocks and you just have a bolster, look at the screen. You can also do this. You can bring the bolster under your forehead and then slowly move it forward any amount until you start feeling that you're getting that stretch throughout the spine. So let me get back to the computer to check how you're all doing. This is for those of you who are doing this for the first time. You're gonna have to play around, have a little fun with your props, but try to feel that you're getting a stretch throughout your spine without it feeling too intense, where you can still breathe. So, breathing is the most important part of yoga. When you stop breathing, we have a lot of problems, but that's no longer yoga. So everybody's looking good, but even Samuel, can you bring something under your forehead if that's available to you? Otherwise, just make sure that you're lengthening the neck away from the base of the neck like we did a moment ago. And Cornell, I think you have, it's kind of dark in your room, but I'm guessing you have something on your forehead, yes? You're good? All right, and we breathe. So using props, especially for beginners class, is so important because this should be effortless. If it's effortful, then we're doing something wrong because we're using props. We're using bolsters, cushions, anything you can. Samuel, I'm seeing that you have a pile of cushions there, but I don't know if you're using them. Can you bring them in? So you can even bring your forearms on it and then your forehead on it. That's it. Just pile them up right in front of your knees. That's it, Deborah. That's it, exactly. Now relax the shoulders, relax the elbows, and just breathe. Once it starts to get a little easy, then you walk your props or your hands forward, maybe half an inch, until you find that stretch once again. That's it, Samuel, that's it. So even Aditi, try to find something to bring your forehead on. There you go. This is so important. This is maybe one of the most important lessons in today's class. Finding the props, finding the way so that your body can breathe. If you try to do somebody else's practice, and it's not how your body's meant to be expressing itself, then that can be injurious. You're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to get the benefit because you're going to be stressing out. Yoga is not a stressful practice. It should be easy. You can straighten your legs if you need to. There you go. Make sure you're feeling a stretch. If you're not feeling a stretch, then walk your props a bit forward and then reassess. All right, so this is intense. If your legs are crossed, you're gonna push yourself back up and we're gonna change the crossing of the legs. Bring the other leg forward. And we lengthen the spine once again, and we start folding forward again. Why? We want to stretch our hips equally. Patiently. Make sure you're feeling comfortable. Then grab another block, maybe place it like halfway. There's plenty of blocks back there. You use your hands as well until you can find... use the blocks and then your hands on top of the blocks. Yes, there you go. Is that a little better, Deborah? Okay, so then that's your forward fold. And we all breathe into the side ribs. We all breathe into the back ribs, lengthening the spine. Lengthening the back of the neck, trying to find a little more length as you hinge forward. Does this feel like you're doing yoga? I hope it does. Maybe you're not doing a handstand and that's not the purpose of yoga or today's class. Today's class is about finding how to release tension, because that's what yoga really does. It brings us back to balance, physically, mentally, and energetically. So wherever you are, everybody seems very nicely settled into your version of forward fold, which is not crazy intense. I hope you found that height and those props that work for you. Just breathe deeply, sending that healing breath to those body parts that are tense, tight, with that intention of releasing that tightness so you can feel better, so you can live life with more ease. Unfortunately, a lot of us, we don't tolerate discomfort very well. We're a generation of pill poppers. When something hurts, boom, there's the pill. But we're not patient enough to sustain this stretch that even if it's not painful, it's not super comfortable. But in yoga, in order to lengthen, we need to persevere. We need to hold these stretches in a non-painful way. That's why it's so important to use your props properly. All right, a few more breaths here. Is there something that you can ease or relax? Maybe it's your jaw. Maybe it's your neck. Maybe it's your shoulders that can become a little softer. Maybe it's your hips. Just finding, if it got a little too intense, aditi, maybe you're needing a little more height in those blocks. Maybe you're going too deep. Maybe you need to bring your hands, there you go, or soft. Just find a way so that it's 50 to 70% intensity, so that you could actually hang out here. Nice. Everybody's tuning inwards, breathing. We're all setting this intention to release the tightness, the tension, physical, energetic tightness. A lot of our undigested emotions get stuck in our joints, neck, shoulders, hips. All right, slowly, let's start to come out of it by pushing ourselves up. And we're going to go into an asana, which is called child's pose. All right, so you already have your pile of cushions or bolsters in front of you. What's going to change is that we're going to come onto our knees. If you have sensitive knees, you can pad the floor with a blanket that you've prepared. Like me, look at the screen, I'm preparing the padding for my knees, and then I come onto my knees, yes, and I bring my knees wide as possible, or at least as wide as my yoga mat, and then I bring my toes together, big toes together, and I start sitting onto my heels. Then I bring 1, 2, or 5 bolsters, however many you need. Make sure the padding is comfortable, nice and neat. And Deborah, I suggest that you bring another one. So you bring 2. So however many you had before, keep that, and then slowly hinge forward to bring your belly onto the bolster, and then the chest, and then maybe the side of the head, if your neck allows. Otherwise, you can bring your hands on top of each other and create a pillow for your forehead. So is this comfortable? It should be, but you should also be feeling a hip opening. So your hips opening, yes? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling your hips opening? When you bring your hips to your heels, it starts to open the hip joints. Yes, make sure that your toes are not tucked. And then you hinge forward and bring the side of that one side, one cheek down, and you relax. Again, because it's the first time you do this or not, but make sure that you find that height in the bolsters, in the props that helps you sustain this and helps you feel this. You're going to have to play around. If it's the first time, get creative. And we breathe again. We're trying to bring our hips to heels. And we're trying to relax our arms, our elbows completely so the bolster is taking the weight of the torso. And we breathe. Relax. Can you relax every muscle in your body? That's it. Everybody's readjusting. That's it. This is a restorative child's pose. The non-restorative means no props underneath you. We're holding this for a few more, or for another minute or so. And you'll notice after about 10 breaths into this pose that maybe it starts to get a little easy. Once it does, you decide whether you want to stay there or you want to modify by eliminating some of the height of the props, maybe removing the props entirely, maybe pushing the props further forward, maybe replacing the props with something a little less high, such as a blanket. So there's a life to each pose, beginning, middle, and end. In the beginning, we go soft, we go easy, we try it out, we patiently wait for the body's reaction. And then as we come towards the middle part of the pose, our body has adjusted, and then we decide, do I want to go deeper, or is this right for me today? If we want to go deeper, then we make those adjustments to help us go in a little deeper, and then we hold that until the end of the pose. So everybody's child's pose right now looks different, and that's how it should be. So many people think that yoga is done in just one way, and I think that's a misconception. Yoga is done in a number of ways because we all have different bodies. We all have different conditions. If you aim to be like that person on Instagram, maybe that's not the right yoga for you, and maybe you're not going to enjoy that, or even you might get hurt. Can you find a little more ease in this pose? Still feeling that hip opening as you keep bringing your hips towards your heels, gravity pulling you down effortlessly. Can you feel the stretch in the lower back, in the middle of the back, the hips, the glutes, the thighs, the knees? There's a lot of stretching going on. That's right, Cornell. Keep modifying, keep adjusting until your body keeps telling you, nope, this is it. I'm good here. So, what we've done today, we've stretched the neck, we've stretched the shoulders, we've even done some shoulder mobility movements by rolling our shoulders. We've come into a forward fold, which is very relaxing, very healing. That's it, Samuel. Keep readjusting. There you go. Because your body has a range, your muscles especially have a range. The muscle slowly starts to stretch. Your ligaments and tendons don't stretch so much. Some of them don't stretch at all, but the muscles do. So as you're starting to gain more range, that's also because the muscles that are typically tight in the lower back and the glutes, the hamstrings, as they start to stretch, you can bring your hips a little closer to the heels. But this is not a race, and it doesn't happen in one day. That's why yoga is called a practice, because we need to keep coming back to it. Deep inhales, complete exhales. If you need to come out of it because it got a little too intense, you come out of it. Take a few breaths, you shake it off, and then you come back down. That's it. Give yourself a nice stretch, Samuel, and then come back down whenever you're ready. That's it. Listen to your body. Everybody's looking great. All right, few more breaths here. And slowly start to press back up. All right, so we're gonna come out of it. We're gonna clear everything on the mat. Move everything away. Move your bolster, your blanket away. That's it. And we are gonna come onto the floor, belly down. So facing down, slowly bring yourself to the floor. Push everything away and bring your hands under your forehead to create like a little pillow, and notice what your body's telling you, especially your lower back. If you feel a little tension there because the forward fold was quite intense, you can rock your hips side to side as if you were wagging your tail. This helps us to release the lower back. All right, we're gonna stretch the front of the thighs. I think it was Dawn who mentioned the front of the thighs being tight. And there is a direct connection between the front of the thigh muscles and the hip muscles called the hip flexors and psoas muscles that connect to the lower back. Those of us who sit all day on chairs, sofas, etc., our muscles from the front of the thigh to the lower back, that is one long muscle called the psoas muscle, becomes tighter and tighter every day. So by stretching our thighs, we're also stretching our lower back. A little counterintuitive, I know, but it's the truth. I've learned it in physical therapy. All right, let's all bend our left ankle, lifting the foot, the toes towards the ceiling. We're gonna reach our left hand around and back, grab the shin, the ankle, top of the foot, and then bring the forehead back down. And just for now, just relax everything. Just letting gravity pull you down. If you cannot reach, you can also use a belt or use a yoga strap. And let's all try to bring our hip bones closer to the floor. So we need to engage our core a little bit to bring our pelvis and our hip bones closer to the floor. That's going to intensify the stretch in the front of the leg. And now we're going to lengthen the left knee and the left thigh away from us to further stretch that area. And if possible, if available to you, start to pull your heel closer to your glute. The knees are together or as wide as your hips, not wider. And we breathe. So the shoulders a little bit engaged, the hand and the wrist are definitely engaged. But again, find an intensity that works for you today. Don't overdo it. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulder, however much you can. Keep lengthening the knee away from you, the thigh away from you. Keep anchoring your hip bones onto the floor. Keep breathing into whatever is tight. Yes, Samuel, I think you went to grab a belt or something. That's a great idea. We all learn how to use our props. First time we try, it's a little funny or it just takes a little while to get there, but once you do, second time is always easier and faster. You'll get there. You got it. If any of you here have a lot of flexibility and this is very easy for you, you can always place a towel or a prop under your knee to further increase that stretch. So I know, Dawn, you probably have that kind of flexibility. So you roll something up and then place that under just the knee. That's going to help you lift the knee and stretch the quadricep and the psoas muscle even more. If you need to take a breather, you take a breather and then you come back to it. Don't give up. But also don't overdo it. There's a balance. We're trying to bring our bodies back to balance. Deep inhales. Complete exhales. Patiently. If your mind wanders away, come back to the breath, come back to the sensations of the body. There are plenty of sensations in this stretch, so just come back, because part of the yogic experience and practice is mindfulness. If we're pulling and stretching and contorting, but we're not here, our mind is elsewhere, it's like it never happened. So just bringing our awareness back to the moment, to what we're doing, is super important, and also it makes things real for us. To release that tightness in the physical and the energetic body, we need that mindfulness. A few more breaths here, and then we're going to switch over to the other leg. All right, let go, let go. You can shake off the leg, you can wag the tail again if that feels right. Just bring your hips side to side. And whenever you're ready, bring that left hand under your head. This time, it's the right knee that bends, and then reach over with your right hand and grab from the shin, the ankle, trying to keep your knees as wide as your hips or less. Breathe, release. What can you let go of? So often we think, oh, I'm tight here, let me stretch. But what happens if we change our framework, our way of seeing things, and we say, let me stretch before it gets tight? That is, my friends, what I highly recommend. So when you create a yoga practice at home, especially in the morning, maybe not the first thing as you roll out of bed. For that is like breath work, meditation is ideal, gentle stretch. But these deeper stretches, sometime in the, like a little bit after you've woken up, not directly when you woke up, this is great to prevent that tension so that your day can feel free, relaxed, easier, more ease and less disease. So for many of you, I know this is intense and you're taking breaks, and that's how it's supposed to be. Let me just say that if you start doing these stretches every day, in less than a month, this will become so much easier, and that pain or that intensity will slowly be diminished. But it's about practice. If you wait for the pain and the tightness to get there, then it's always going to be painful because you're not doing any preventive work. So set that intention right now and tell yourself, I will stretch every morning. And the stretches we've done today, they're all effortless. They're all easy in the sense that they don't require a lot of strength. They just require a lot of patience and dedication. All right, few more breaths here, making any last adjustments to the pose. So just as a reminder again, Why we're stretching our thighs is because there is this muscle called the psoas muscle that runs through the thigh into the pelvis towards the back of the body and then continues almost to the middle of the back. That's what's tight. So when we stretch the front of the thigh, we also stretch the back, the lower back. That's human anatomy. And it works. I was bedridden with terrible pain for almost a year with two herniated disc and degenerative disc disease. So I spent a whole year in physical therapy. A lot of what I teach now comes from that, when I've learned to release the pain in my back. The excruciating pain that many of us feel. So these stretches prevent that pain from coming back. All right, slowly release the legs, shake it off, wag your hips side to side. Bring your hands under your shoulders and then press back up into a child's pose. So we come from here, just use your arms as a reverse push-up to bring your hips back just for a moment, as far back as you can. Feel the stretch of the spine again. And then use your hands to walk yourself back up and then cross the legs, swing the legs around to the front, and we meet where we started, sitting on our pile of bolsters or props, hips as high or higher than our knees. And we're coming to the end of class. We always close class by saying namaste. Namaste is a greeting and from India, and basically it wishes well to each other. It's a way to honor our presence and our time together. So bring your hands together at heart center in prayer mudra. Relax the shoulders down, relax the elbows down as if you're hugging your ribs. Lengthen the spine, top of the breath, inhale. Exhale, chin to chest. One last neck stretch. And we all set the intention. I will stretch every day to prevent the pain and the tension from coming back to me. Hopefully you really repeated that to yourselves. And we inhale the head back up. All right, namaste. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Stay in touch. Take care.